Welcome back to the channel. Another week, another match. This match was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work. This was one that I actually put on and designed 3 of the, let's say 2.5 of the stages for. A couple good friends of mine that I shoot with regularly built and designed one of the stages. It was their first time doing that, and I thought it came out great. So thank you again to the help that they gave me for that. And then we did do one of the provisional 26 series classifiers, Darwinism. We've been kind of trying to mix some of the provisional ones into our monthly matches, and I think we've gotten through most of them at this point. It was a good stage. I absolutely botched it, as you're about to see. And then we added in one of the actual classifiers. It was trigger freeze, whatever the numbers are on that one again. I'll put it below so that you can see the numbers, but I rarely remember the number of the classifier off the top of my head. But it was a long, hot weekend. Very good match in general. A little bit lower turnout than our first monthly match at Hamden, but that is a little bit on the expected side because it normally, everyone's been used to the first weekend of the month having a match, and this is only the second year of doing a second USPSA match at the club for most months. So that was that. About half of the day went very well for my shooting, half of it did not. I think a lot of it was the work involved in running the match and the lack of proper preparation on my part. Had a very, very bad night before as far as getting any kind of rest or being able to take care of my body, so that's a learning experience that you do have to actually take care of yourself before a match in order to perform well, which I know that's been said by a number of different high-level shooters, and something that I've never honestly taken too seriously, but this match definitely highlighted that for me. So time to come up with an actual ritual to kind of stay on top of things before a match versus just at the match. So with all that rambling done, let's get right into the match itself.
Stand by!
I got in your way. Yep.
No, he said that way and back.
Justin,
You never.
I'll move him back.
He's fine.
Okay, you think
You
so?
just have to stay behind me.
We'll see.
All right.
If I have to reshoot, I need to reload. But
Are you ready?
Stand by.
So our first stage, this is the one that my friends built. The first attempt at it, me and the RO, we knew very much so that it was RO interference, so we both kind of just stopped it before we got too far into it, and I was A-okay with it because there was a couple makeups on the steel target at the beginning, and I cleaned that first section up very well for the second run. The rest of the stage went pretty good as far as time goes, but we started, me and the RO kind of realized my sights might be off on that gun specifically. Haven't had that issue with it up until now, but the sight place on my 320X5 is sight plate. I think I said place. But it's a little loose, so I was hitting very right on all the targets. One round ended up hitting a barrel, so that was a mic, and then I had a lot of very close stacked Charlies and Deltas, so it wasn't that I was shooting all over the place. I actually think that the sights were off. That'll be fixed this week when I actually get out to the range.
Are you ready? Stand by.
This stage that you're about to see was the short course that I put out just to have a little bit more what I felt like was an IPSC style stage. I haven't really shot IPSC matches, but from what I have seen and looked at, I was trying to do it a little bit more IPSC. Have some interesting short courses still, even with it being a USPSA match, and most people, at least at our club, do enjoy the field courses, but I like having a good mix of things as long as it's an interesting short course. So this one didn't go too poorly. I actually had one of the better times on the stage. So I thought that went well, and we're off to the next one.
Stand by. If you're finished, unload and choke forward.
This stage was the one that we left up the walls and the barrels, and most of everything was the same setup as the previous week. I tweaked some of the targets, moved some things around. I did add a barrel stack to try to force another shooting position in the front section, because last week you were able to skip one of the gaps in the wall. It was a oversight on my part when I was rushing to get through, because we were about a half hour behind when I wanted to start the match. I ended up still leaving it so you could skip one of the little gaps in the walls, but it was still a fun stage. We swapped the start position to the back of the stage, so it was a different stage even with the very, very similar setup to the week before. That one went pretty well for me. I did kind of botch my plan midway through. So I kind of missed my first reload. Then my second reload, I actually intended to take one more target before I reloaded the gun, and that caused me to have to shift into a lean in the front right box instead of shooting that target on the way up and then just going into the gap in the walls. Definitely cost me a little bit of time, and other than that, it wasn't too bad. I feel like I recovered from that mistake quickly, but it could have gone better, and following your plan usually works out quite a bit better.
Stand by.
This stage went not great. So my plan got very much so thrown off because I ended up taking way too many shots, and I knew I was going to be running out of ammo. I ended up only throwing one shot at the tuxedo and then doing my reload because of all the makeup shots before I got to the tux. In my head, I was really about out of ammo. Looking back at the video now, I had enough rounds to throw the two at the tux. That was a poor game time decision. And then I meant to do my reload actually after the target that I engaged after that tuxedo, going into the front array. I also ended up a little bit too far forward in that shooting area because the lean for the last target ended up being a lot harder than it needed to be. If you stayed back a little more, it made it a lot easier. So once my game plan went out the window on that stage, things kind of spiraled, which is obviously unfortunate. Lessons are learned.
Stand by.
This is the provisional classifier Darwinism. Stage was great and the plan was right, and then I took 10 shots at the 2 pieces of steel, which, I mean, I knew I was gonna reload anyway on this stage, even though the round count isn't required for a reload. At least in production, it wouldn't require a reload if you didn't miss the steel 8 times. So that was not great. I really will need to work on moving and hitting steel the way that I would like to be able to. I was able to do it great last year shooting a dot, but I'm not doing it very well this year with irons and just how I've been shooting lately. So I do need to work on that drastically before we get to factory and IPSC nets.
Are you ready? Stand by. If you're finished the loop.
And then here was our last stage. This was trigger freeze. Again, I don't remember the number. It'll be right here again. And this one went very well for me. Ran dry intentionally on the first 2 arrays, do the reload into the last array. I flubbed the reload a little bit, not terrible, but it was a little bit slower than I was hoping for. So I got to shooting the last array just a touch later than I wanted to, but I still ended up walking away from that classifier with a 92% run, so I'm not complaining about that one at all. Hits were mostly there. Wasn't really using the sights with how close those targets are. That's kind of just a point and shoot stage in my opinion. The targets are close enough even with the no shoots. I'm not really looking at the sights for that one. So that was this match. Definitely could have gone better as far as my performance, but everyone that was there had a great time. We all enjoy shooting, so no one's complaining about an extra match. And the staff tax is real, and not being physically prepared as far as my preparation going into the match causes some performance issues. So I have an off week this week. We actually don't have a match this weekend, so I do get to take a little bit of a break. I have a video idea to potentially get done, and we'll see how that turns out to post one next week even without a match. But if you have any ideas for upcoming videos, please drop them down below in the comments. If there's anything that you want to see in the future when I do have off weeks or something like this where there's not going to be a match to go over, then please let me know, and that way I can continue to hopefully entertain you guys. I'm hoping that's why you're watching the videos and why people keep watching them. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you all on the range.